All right, this is a continuation of our February team training, and I'm going to do a portion of the training. We just got to hear from Adele, and one of the things I'm going to talk about is how you do that first reach out and how you get connected with people. And one of the things that when Adele was just talking that I thought was so great that she brought up was she's an introvert. And I was just talking with a gal earlier today who built a really large, I made it the full screen. Who knew I could do that? I'll do that next time. Who built a really large network marketing business. And she said, you know, one of the things that's really important for people to understand is that it isn't just one personality type. It's not just, and she said, and I really love connecting with people. And she said, you know, people might look at you, Jamie, and say, it's really easy for you to connect with people. You like, you know, it's your natural instinct. But then you look at Adele, who mentioned that she's more comfortable with a couple people. And she was by far the top retailer in January. She's been the top 5 retailers for over a year. I mean, that's awesome. And she did that because she found a way to do the same thing that we're going to talk about. It's okay just to put a little bit of your flavor on. But one of the things that was interesting as well when I was talking with April earlier today is that she had said 15% of people are the sanguine, you know, that personality type that really just thrives off people, which a lot of us are, but not everyone is. She said, so here's the thing, when you walk into a room, 85% of the people there are feeling uncomfortable. 85%. So if you're one of those 85%, don't feel bad. Give those other people standing there a gift. Because 85% of you don't want to say hi first. You know what I mean? So be one of those. It's okay. If it comes easy to you, fabulous. If it doesn't, it's okay. Because the truth is, you have to be willing to do some belly-to-belly people business. Because people buy our products, but it's people who buy our products. And what we're really in this for is not to get 1,000 sales this month or a big team check, but it's to change lives, right? While we make money. We don't want people just to buy it this month and go away. We want to be able to hear stories like Elizabeth, whose stomach doesn't hurt after 4 years of it hurting. Adele, who they weren't able to afford life insurance for her husband because of where his test came up. Got on the customs, now they can afford life insurance. Those are the things we want to be able to tell people while we increase our income, right? So my training is about how do you start the conversation. So first, with every piece of our business, there's both the skill set, right? Learning the skills. And one of the things I loved about the Danny Johnson training is when she's talked about a doctor is highly skilled, right? We would all agree. A dentist is highly skilled. You don't want a dentist to give you open heart surgery. And you don't want an open heart surgery doctor to give you a crown, right? They're both highly skilled. So why would we approach this business where we can make significant amounts of money? It's really honest. If you want to make a couple hundred, we can make that. You can make significant amounts of money. We are new in this company. This company grows like we all think it's going to. We can make big money. Why would we assume that we don't need to do some of the same kinds of skill set training that you would in any other income, right? That's almost lottery ticket mentality to kind of think that we're not going to need to grow some skill set. So we obviously need to grow the skill set. We also need to grow the mindset, because sometimes we need to kind of identify for ourselves, is it the skill that we need to grow, or do we have some kind of block because of something we heard, something we have? Are we afraid to make money, or do we think we can't be a consultant to someone? What are our things? And if with some of those mindset things, that's one of the beautiful pieces of our business is how that mentoring is built right in, because we can help each other move through those things. Because we all look at each other and see how vibrant, skilled, beautiful, talented we are, and we can help each other through the mindset piece of it. So mindset and skill set are the two things to take into account whenever any piece of your business feels broken. What is it you got to work on? So as we start the conversation, two things. Remember that you're fishing and not hunting. Right? We're looking for long-term relationships. So don't feel like you got to make it happen right now. This is a fishing expedition from the vegan. That's who's telling you that. Yeah. And then, again, we're creating those long-term beneficial relationships. So my goal consistently through my time in network marketing has been 2 to 5 reach outs a week. And we all have busy lives, and we all have reasons that we can't. It's about whether we want to be really honest, right? Because if you want to, 2 reach outs a week isn't that much. You talk to people all the time. If you chose to, you could absolutely connect with 2 new people a week. So it's whether or not you want to, really. So if you're not, if you're feeling like you want to be growing your business, but you're not having those connections, what's the mindset in between that's stopping you from that, right? So here's what we want to do with those. So that's that initial contact, basically, that reach out, right? And some of us have been doing that Danny Johnson boot camp. It's pretty involved. I think we're going to maybe slow that down to like a 60 to 90 day as a team maybe, and figure that out, because there's some really good information in there. Awesome. And I don't want anybody to miss it because of being overwhelmed. So we're going to figure that out a little bit. But she really talks about how to make that initial contact. And as much as I may be naturally a sanguine and naturally reach out, I've been applying some of that, and my results, I'm really happy. So I'm going to share about that in a minute. But so our goal with that initial contact, with those 2 to 5 reach outs, is to ask them to take a look at the business. So we're going to set an appointment from that initial contact, right? And the appointment we set would either be to try a skincare sample, to take a look at the customs video, to take a look at the business through either our Monday night, like 10-minute call that we have, or we now have that opportunity video. And I have typed up a script for that, so you could do it live, or we are going to record a version that you could just get on. Like send them the link. You could both be on, watch it together, and then you could move to the next step, which we'll talk about as I share that piece later this week. But or take a look at the other products, like this month, because our makeup special is so great. I'm focusing on that because it's a door opener. Women will buy lipstick faster and quicker than they'll buy skincare. But once they're your customer, they are more open to buying other products from you. It's totally a door opener. So let's sell some of the beautiful lipstick we saw Elizabeth wearing and open the door. So the other thing I want to say about our business is I think we make it too big a lot of times. If you reached out to 2 people a week, you've reached out to over 100 people a year. And one of the statistics that I hear often about our business is people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year, but they underestimate what they can accomplish in 3 to 5 years. So with where our company is right now, if you reached out to 2 people a week for 3 to 5 years, you're talking 300 to 500 people. I believe you would find a strong customer base for an immediate Friday retail income, and you would build a team. Because our products are that good. Even if we mess up a lot, 300 to 500 people, we build. But that's where it's so easy to get lost, right? Because we feel like we got to do a lot. It takes so little consistently, as Adele had said earlier. So that said, one of the things we often always skip is making a list of our resources. And if you've gotten the new Bioseutica starter kit, you have, and of course you can just do a piece of paper, but we do have a great memory jogger. And then we have a place to put 150 names of people. Danny Johnson does a great training, and so we're just going to leave that. We're going to put that on the website, and we're going to refer you to that. But a great training on kind of how to do that, but also to keep in mind, if you started any business, you'd create a list of resources. That doesn't mean you're going to call them all. It doesn't mean that some of them are even going to be people you want to approach as customers. You might be asking them for referrals. But if you're serious about this business, she said, if you spent $10,000 to start this business instead of $200, would you make a list of resources? Yes. Mm-hmm. So sometimes our low entry is almost to our detriment because we want the big paycheck in the end, but we don't do what we would do if we had to put a lot of money in the beginning. So again, that comes down to what are we willing to do? So make that list. Nobody's going to make you call it because you don't have to turn it in to anybody, but make the list if you haven't done it yet. And quite honestly, so they say the average person has met 2,000 people by the age of 21. If you were to scroll through your phone, I bet you have 200 people.
Or Facebook.
Right. I was going to say, or go through your Facebook list, your Christmas card list, your wedding invite list, your kids' graduation list. You can make a list of 200 people from those resources within 15 minutes. And what I know for myself as well, sometimes when I get down about my business, it's when I feel like, who am I going to call? Who am I going to talk to? Sometimes the value of having that list is knowing that you got a long list. You might not get through it because as you start to build, it connects out and it spider webs out, right? But if you don't have that list, you have that, who am I going to call? Nobody wants what I have kind of feeling, you know? So make that list. And then if you have not done a business launch, that's the best way to open the doors. And you can certainly do a relaunch. You can do a relaunch anytime you want. My company relaunched this year, and so am I, right? Because our company did. We just launched a brand new makeup line, and I'm relaunching, right? There are all kinds of reasons you can relaunch your business. I'm having a grand opening. All those things. And that's a great way to reach out to a lot of people in a hurry, and your mentor can help you do that. And then one of the big ways that I get events, so just like Adele, I was kind of going to go through, so what have I done recently? And one of the big things that I've done is, so I do the Women's Meet and Mingle, which is a networking group, but it's quarterly. So it's 4 times a year. And I love that Adele's doing all that networking. Right now, my schedule doesn't lend itself to that as much as I like. I see lots of great groups in Boise, and I am not able to go to as many as I want. But from the one I went to, I've had 5 appointments in the last week. People that I reached out to and said, hey, I saw you at this. I didn't get a visit. I'd love to see, catch up kind of thing. So I've had those appointments. I also, I'm meeting with a gal so this coming Thursday, when I was picking Jocelyn up from cheer, we started chatting. Oh, hey, Jocelyn wants to have a play date. And this is the mom. It's true. She said, I want to play date with her. And I'm like, I don't know who her mom is. I don't know. Well, we happen to be standing next to each other, right? So I was like, oh, hey, Jocelyn wants to have a play date with you. And just so happened that there's a great little restaurant right next to where the cheer is that has happy hour. We both had been in the restaurant. I was like, didn't I just see you over at right? She's like, yeah, I saw you too. And I said, well, hey, how about if we meet there one time? Well, the girls are doing cheer. So this week we're meeting there. So it's just about meeting new people. I picked JW up from improv, and we had to help somebody else in through the door. So then I said, hey, my name is Jamie. She says her name right. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, my hands are just really dry, as she, gives me a handshake. And I said, I don't always lead with the product, because typically I try to lead with getting to know the person. But in that case, I said, oh, are your hands really dry? And she said, yeah, I just really hard time in the winter. And I said, me too. I'm with a great skincare line, and we have phenomenal lotion and treatment oil that are great for that. I'd love to get you samples, get connected, and I'll have JW take it next week. So it's about, I think, being willing as you go. And if you're willing as you go, the contacts just open. Today I was we opened up this line, we're moving some stuff around with the bank, and the gal was, as I was leaving, she's like, man, I just love your hair. And I was like, hey, we have a great shampoo and conditioner with the line that I represent. I'd love to drop off a sample. She said, sounds good. I said, hey, I'll bring you some skincare sample too. She was like, okay, great. So Thursday I'm bringing that by. So it doesn't have to be a big deal. If you sold insurance, you'd say, hey, well, who do you use for insurance? Can I give you a quote? I think we make it too big, and sometimes we try to make it sneaky, right? Yeah. We don't have to. Yeah. Hey, do you love what you use for nutrition? Oh, great. It's working good for you? Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. Most people will say, well, it's all right. I mean, I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of this. I'm kind of that. Well, I'm with a company that has customized nutrition, and when you give the body what it wants, it's amazing to see the differences. My friend Elizabeth had stomach pain for 4 years. She actually only got the nutrition because it was a good deal with the skincare. Her stomach pain went away. My friend Adele, they weren't doing life insurance for her husband because of what the life insurance cost because of his tests and stuff. So then and I'll even say, I'm not even sure what tests, but he got on the customized nutrition. Yes. Yes. Being the technical person that I am, though, I have wanted to be so technical for years. I'm telling you, the last 2 weeks, I've just been telling stories. People are much more interested. And I even act a little more blonde than I am when I say things like, I don't even know what tests were out of range. But when he took the customs, he got back in range, and they got on the, and now he has life insurance. So it's not even just about nutrition. It's that, heaven forbid anything should happen, her family's taken care of. My friend Deneen, her mom, her cholesterol levels went from 320 to 230 in 6 months. Enough said. No panels talked about, ladies. Yeah. Right? But people are interested. So then I say, if you'd like to know more about that, why don't I send you a link that you can hear some more about? And they say, sure, send me a link. And I say, okay, when's a good time to watch it? Okay, let's follow up this time, right? And just set it up. So it's about the stories, which is again why it's really important that we all do our favorite things videos so that we can send that out for people. But so I was just going to read you real quick. Here's what I've sent out on Facebook. So on Facebook, you can copy and paste messages really easy. And when my calendar's empty, I copy and paste 15 messages out. And within a day, I have appointments for the next week and a half. Because people reply on Facebook and on text faster than they ever will on email or voicemail. And it takes you so little time. I mean, you can Facebook 15 people or text 15 people in a minute and a half, to be really honest. So like, so like this gal, I don't know if I have ever met her in person, to be really honest. So I said, hey, we're Facebook friends, but I'd love to get to visit in person. Would you be up for coffee/happy hour this day or this day? Because I don't know if I've ever met her. I mean, I guess maybe we probably did somewhere along the line, but I don't know who she is. So realistically, you probably have Facebook friends like that too, if you went through your list that you don't really know. Or, somebody, so here's one I sent to somebody else. Where's it at? Hi there, how are you? It's been so long since we visited. I'd love to reconnect over coffee or happy hour anytime this day. Yes, that would be wonderful. How about 12 o'clock? You pick the place. I mean, I have all kinds of appointments on my calendar right now just from sending those kind of messages out. And then I know another gal with another company who sends out, who she just goes through and looks through her new friends list, and then becomes friends with, sends those people a friend message and says, hey, we don't know each other, but I see you're friends with so-and-so. I'd love to get together over coffee or happy hour. Which day's good for you, this or this? So if you don't have a lot of friends on your Facebook, it doesn't matter. Pick a friend who does. And if you don't live close to people, or if geographically, I know that some of you guys are in more urban areas, it's harder to get together. You can say, hey, can we get together for virtual coffee or happy hour and get to know each other over Zoom, Skype, whatever it might be, right? You don't have to be in person. So, okay, so those are referrals from your warm market. You can pay for leads. You can go to networking events. People you meet as you go through the day, like I talked about Nicole and the other. Something that was kind of fun when I was talking with April today is she said, some people have done other kinds of sales, but they're not as comfortable. So that maybe they've knocked on doors or they've had leads come to them, but they're not as comfortable with this. Like, how do I create a lead, essentially, right? So she says, imagine each person that you see has a door in front of them and you're knocking on it when you say hello and you're seeing who they are. So, whatever it is, it kind of takes for you to relate to how you did business before. And then the goal of that initial contact is to form so you can learn their sign. So that, of course, would be asking questions about their family, occupation, recreation, so that you can learn their strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And I've done the form or the Ford method before, as many of you probably have, but Danny Johnson really kind of dials that in further into looking for their strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And that's been the piece that's taken things a lot further for me. So I met with a gal who's a young realtor, and she's a young mom. And as we talked, so these are like the notes. I'm just going to read you the notes I got in my car. Many of you have the same thing. You have this little note thing, right? So in my car, I clicked on the button, and I told myself all these things after we met together so that I could have that for the next time that I talk with her. Jocelyn, realtor. Her son is Jude. Her husband's Jake. He works at HP. They've been together for 5 years, married September 27th. She didn't want to be the best administrative assistant. She wanted to be a leader. She did training on Epic Systems at St. Luke. She was certified to be a trainer. She didn't like being unemployed because she was for a period of time. She likes accolades. She likes people. She likes being self-employed. Money is tight for them on just his salary. She would like a cushion so she could do things like have her nails done and go get massages. She just closed 3 deals, but she's really tight on time. She's been working with another realtor and helping her business. She's very self-motivated. So when we talked again, and even when we talked that day, I said, so Jocelyn, I hear you say that you are doing a great job with your real estate business. But for one, the other thing she said that's not in my notes, you're worried about, some months are busier than the other months, which makes your income go up and down. And you're paying back for the time that you were unemployed, and you're paying back for getting your business started. But you, at the same time, would like to have some extra money for things like nails or massages. And I think I might have an answer for you. Are you open to looking at extra ways to create income? We've already visited, and to be honest, she's told me about herself for a bit, right? We're pretty connected at this point. I know quite a bit about her. And she's like, well, sure. I said, well, one of the great things about my business is that people like you who have a business that goes up and down, you can work our business when you don't have real estate clients, because you kind of can't predict when people are coming and going, right? So you can build our business so you could create some consistent residual income so that you wouldn't have to have those fluctuations, and you could celebrate with those real estate sales, but you'd have some cushion regardless. Do you want to set up a time where I can give you some more information and we can go over that? And she's open to it. We went through the business presentation. At the end, her objection was that she didn't have time, and we talked some more about it. And she's I think she's going to come on as a consultant. I'm not sure if it's going to be this. I think she's just wait till his closings come in, and she's going to try the products first and see how things go. But I mean, the thing is, it wasn't like, hey, I have this great business and we're a new company and we're the only ones that have customized nutrition and blah, 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 blah. It was like, here are the things I hear you saying that are a need for you, just like Adele said earlier. Yeah. So right. Plus, I said, you're a leader. You already have training experience. You like to be self-employed. You have the self-discipline it takes. So I already know you can be successful, right? Because I was listening, which I have to be honest, I really didn't like put that piece into play before, looking for her strengths, interests, goals, and needs to know whether it was something for her and whether she'd be good at it. Because really, we're interviewing them too. Yeah. So anyway, and then at that point, I gave her a sample to try that day. And she took that with her. The next day, we did the business presentation. And then I did what I always do. And if you are giving people samples and you're not texting them the next day, you are shooting yourself in the foot half the time. Because people will use too much. They won't use it the right way. Whatever every day. If I give them a sample and I'll say, just so a gal today. So I just rolled my 401k over to a financial advisor because it's been where I used to work. Anyway, and she's a client of mine, but her sister-in-law, who is at the front desk, is not. So when we were talking on the phone, I said, hey, didn't we meet at an event they had last year? And she said, yes. And we kind of visited that event. I said, it'd be fun to get together for coffee hour and get to know each other better. Coffee happy hour. See, I even shortened that to one word. And get to know each other better. And she said, absolutely. And then we talked about what part of town we were in. And interestingly, we live a couple blocks apart. So we walked on Saturday instead. It was like, well, hey, it's going to be a beautiful day. Why don't we go for a walk? So we walked for an hour. During the course of the conversation, I said, hey, Dinah's a customer. I don't know if you talked with her about skincare, but I'd love to give you a sample, see what you think of it. She said, yes. It didn't really work to give her a sample that day. So today when I had to sign some paperwork, I dropped it off. But then I said, are you going to be able to use that tonight? And she said, yes. And if she hadn't, I would have asked her when she was going to, right? She said, tonight. I said, okay, cool. Well, I'll send you a text in the morning to see how it's feeling for you. Because sometimes people need to adjust less serum, more day cream, whatever. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, then you're not going to love it. But if we have the chance to adjust it, I can help you fall in love with it. So then I go put in my calendar a reminder in the morning to text, because I will never remember to text her. Maybe you guys would remember without a reminder on your phone, but I would not. So put that reminder in, and make that consistent follow-up and build those relationships. So I know that Elizabeth's crew has kind of really talked about, how do you start with the reach out? How do you do it? Those are the main things. And the last little piece I wanted to chat about is on an airplane, because we talked about when you're traveling, how do you connect with people? And honestly, it's the same darn thing. Sit next to somebody, asking, you're forming, right? Tell me more about your family. Tell me more about your occupation. Tell me more about, and as you hear from them, they will eventually say, tell me what you do. And if they don't, they're probably not someone you want as a client or a customer anyway, because if they can sit next to you for an hour and a half and never ask about you, to be honest, right. I just hope you had a couple drinks while you listened to them for an hour and a half, if that's all it was. But anyway, so when they ask, especially if you're traveling maybe for another business, as I know some of you are, then I would say something like, well, I wear a couple different hats. I am traveling for this, but I'm a big believer in having a couple income streams. So the other thing I do is this, or I'm traveling for this, but the other hat I wear is with Bioseutica, because I had, maybe in the case of Sarah, because I had actually been to the hospital with, reactions to skincare in the past. And I found the skincare line that not only gives me results for my tired mom eyes, but also, those are her words, not mine, but also it doesn't have all those toxins. And now that I've had the experience that I have, I know how other people are being affected by toxins, whether they know it or not. People are typically, and then if you just stop, people are typically going to say, they're going to ask you a question, right? So, and I'll have a sample with me on the plane. I'll say, hey, I have a sample. If you want to try it, if you love it, great. If you don't, no worries. And I say that if you want to try it, great. If you don't, no worries. the same that an insurance agent would. If my quote's better for you, great. And if it's not, hey, stay where you are, right? So it's just about, again, it's not hiding. It's being ready, not being afraid, but not feeling like we have to have something slick. Tell a few stories. You're not doing this because somebody else told you the products were great. You're doing it because you liked the products in the first place, right? So what did you like? And who do you know who's already told you they like it too? You know, Marilyn's niece, who's had such amazing results with the probiotic. We don't need to tell people what's in it. We just need to tell them the results. So that is the end of that. I went way over my time because I got all excited. So any quick questions, and then we'll adjourn this training and just have some visiting. Anything you guys want to say before I stop the recording?
That was awesome.
Well, thank you.
I'm so glad it's recorded so I can listen to it because you talked really fast.
I knew I was short on time. I gotta be so careful about that.
It's recorded, right? It's recorded.
Yeah. Any other questions? Elizabeth, do you feel like that covered some of the things we talked about?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Too.
For you and Adele. Thank you for both of you.
Yes, Adele, that was such a great training earlier. So I'll post them both tomorrow. And goodbye to our friends in other lands.
Congratulations, Adele, the baby.
We can't hear you, Adele, but we're saying congratulations on the baby. We still can't hear you, Adele. But your mouth is moving. You look very pretty. Nope, that didn't work either.
Nope.
All right, but you can call me and I'll put you on speakerphone if you want. Okay. All right, take care, all. Thanks so much. Have a great